Welcome to SATO48, the TV show. SATO48 stands for Springfield and the Ozarks 48-Hour Film Challenge, where teams of filmmakers have 48 hours, just 2 days, to make a 5-minute movie. The twist? They don't know what that movie has to be about until it's revealed to them in the form of an inspiration package! Today on SATO48, the TV show, we meet the cinematographer behind many of the best-looking films SATO48 has ever enjoyed, David Watson. This is David's 8th year of, as he puts it, learning how to overcome challenges, enjoy the creative process, and watch his work and the work of his colleagues improve year after year. 3 SATO48 favorites fall into the sci-fi horror category. 2019's The Cure, 2020's Keyed, and in 2021, post-credit scene, which is just about as creepy and atmospheric as you can get. You're about to see what I mean. Stay where you are and enjoy post-credit scene.
God, I'm glad that's over.
Yeah, me too. I don't think I'll ever forget that smell. Do you still smoke? I'm calling Doc Warren.
This is Dr. Warren.
It's still happening. We did everything exactly as you said. We watched it burn. And it's still happening.
Well, just slow down. Are the marks still there? What about the voices?
The markings they're almost gone. And no more voices.
Good. Take me through exactly what you did. Sounds like you did everything right. What you are experiencing could be residual effects.
Residual effects?
Yes, just like it's taking time for your markings to disappear. Sometimes there are things that take time. But as long as there wasn't any transfer, everything should be fine.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
Well,
Residual effects. She says that sometimes these things just take time.
see? I told you we were overreacting. Everything's fine now.
Yeah.
So you're just gonna stare at that thing all night, or?
I don't trust that thing. Hey, did you? Hey. Did you hear it too?
No, I was just looking at it.
Probably just a bad dream. Come to bed.
Yeah, just a bad dream.
But as long as there wasn't any transfer,
Post-credit scene. You should feel creeped out, and we're going to tell you why you feel so creeped out with David Watson, director of photography for this film.
Hello.
Hello, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Doing good, thanks.
How do you approach cinematography when it's a horror thriller versus a comedy or some other genre? How does genre determine lighting?
Oh yeah, it plays a big part in it. It's a joke that I always want to have something that's scary or dramatic because I like to light. And it is true, if you watch a comedy, typically they're what they call high key, which is just brighter and evenly lit. There's not a lot of shadows. And so low key lighting is going to be kind of like what post-credit scene was, which is very moody and lots of shadows and little pops of light or color. So yeah.
Okay, so going in, 'cause this is SATO48, it's 48 hours. You don't have 2 weeks in advance. They don't know what they're going to do.
Right.
So how do you take a director's vision or a script, which has probably just been handed to you at the last second, and then turn it into this really moody, spooky, but with variety, 5-minute film?
The genre obviously helps. If you know you're doing a drama or even an action film, that's obviously you sort of get in that mindset of this is what it's going to be like, what it's going to look like. So, and with Sato, it's so collaborative. You know, on Sato, it's one of the things I like about Sato is I don't write, I don't direct. I joke that my camera sits around until somebody says, hey, we want you to shoot something. And so, but Sato, I get to sort of help with that process, with at least the idea process, not necessarily the writing. But so I'm involved enough to know, like, here's what's coming. We all have this, you know, here's what's the road ahead of us and how do we get there. But yeah, genre definitely is the big thing to help decide what it's going to look like. And I like to light moody things, and I think usually the people I work with know that, and so they're like, let David cook, as they say. So.
Need to report a break-in at Otis Labs. Male suspect, blue hoodie. There's a vial of EH5.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And so let's pick a scene. For example, the tumult scene with the wind and all that. You know, that's kind of scary moment. So what went into the lighting of that and the just overall, you know, cinematography of it?
Sure. That was a tougher shot because Mickey comes down the hallway, so we were on a dolly. So we had to track with him and then pan over and see everything that's going on. And of course, I'm having to rack focus and all that kind of stuff. The racking focus is just adjusting the focus from close to far away or far away to close.
Okay.
Usually quickly to focus on, again, Mickey coming, he's this close and we've got to rack to Val. But as far as the cinematography, we had lights flashing. I think we may have had a light that was just sort of like an ambient light that was coming into the shot. But that shot is really fun, and it's one of those shots. I edited the film as well, and I hated that we didn't get to see that shot longer because there's so many things going into it. If you watch it, it's really fast, but you can hear the noise and the wind. But if you look, there's paper flying everywhere, and there's a frame behind Val on the wall that's shaking, and you can see into the kitchen, all the cabinets and the drawers are moving and shaking, and there's people back in the corner of the kitchen with monofilament with just fishing line pulling and jerking, and we did it, I don't know, 3 or 4 times. So after we did it, we'd have to sweep up all the paper, put it in a pile. Every time we would call action, they'd start throwing paper in front of the fan, and it was such a cool shot. But for the edit and for what was going on, it had to be short.
The opening scene with the fire.
Yes.
You just used the fire to light them?
No, I think we had, now that you say that, we had an LED panel off to the side, and a lot of times the LED panels you get nowadays will do different colors, the RGB lights. RGB is it's like red, green, blue, the sort of the spectrum of colors. You can.
Well, I see where they got the acronym, but what does it mean?
So you can adjust and sort of pick your color. It has a hue, every hue has a number associated with it. Like the blue light behind you is set
What?
to a hue. I know,
Oh,
right? Sneaky.
Yeah. Wow.
We set that LED panel to a certain color. So we had that. But those panels will do lightning. They'll do a flicker like from a fire. So we just they'll do like police lights and stuff like that. So we just brought it in to sort of give an extra flicker on them and to help with exposure. So.
To bring light to things that don't have an actual light on them.
Right. Exposure is watching. You don't want things to be too bright or too dark. So you sort of find that middle ground. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, certainly.
Make sure you can see what you're looking at. So.
Cool. Yeah, because it is
It helps.
It's a visual medium.
Yeah, exactly.
This was not your first SATO film though.
No, this was like the fifth one.
Fifth one, and you've done 8.
Yep, 8 so far.
6 were turned in on time.
Yeah.
2 weren't. What from a director of photography point of view, did you have anything to do with the lateness? And you have to be honest with us now, not say no, it was somebody else.
I mean, honestly, no.
Oh God, what did I just say?
What did you do? What did you do?
I didn't do. This is not my fault.
One of the ones that was late was our COVID year, 2020. Now that one, as a DP, was weird because I did not touch a camera. So one of our actresses was in Georgia. She was in Atlanta. One was in Joplin, and one was in Springfield. Of course, with lockdown and quarantine, we couldn't be in the same room. So they had to send me footage from their cameras, and I was on FaceTime with all of them to help them get into the menus and take it out of auto. They all had like DSLRs or cameras, like photography cameras that would shoot 1080p video. So they didn't know how to get out of auto, which is where it would choose your exposure and all that kind of stuff. So it's like to get into manual, and I would just try to help them get it exposed correctly.
Because I've tried to change those settings, and it's like, what? Please.
You can get lost.
Could I get David Watson on FaceTime,
Right.
please? Yeah,
Yes.
always there.
Yeah, so that one wasn't because of the cinematography, but that definitely slowed it down.
What was your first SATO48 film? And actually, how did you even find out about SATO48?
So the first one I ever did was called Dancer in 2017. I think it was Ducon Williams. I had worked with him on another project. SATO in 2017 was only the second time I'd ever been on a set. And so now I had shot stuff in the past, weddings and stuff like that. So I was used to my camera, but having been on an actual set, it was really the only second set I'd ever been on. But the first one, Ducon happened to be on it. And I remember it was another friend of ours, Thomas Turbyville, who ended up directing Dancer. He was on that set as well, and they reached out to me and said, hey, we're going to do this thing called SATO. I'd never heard of SATO. And so I was like, okay, cool.
You've never heard of SATO?
I know.
That has to mean something, right?
He's not coming back here to tell us we suck.
Now, you worked with Ducon again on
I did.
another successful SATO48 film called The Cure.
Yes.
And I remember there's this rainy street scene that just looks...
Oh, at night.
At night.
Yeah, that's one of those things, like, it seems like it always rains. It's April, so it's going to rain. It seems like every year on SATO, but that year it was
One
really...
year it snowed.
I know, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So took advantage of it. We're downtown, or anywhere downtown, if people who do SATO, you get all these reflections and all these, I call it free light. It's beautiful. We didn't do anything. It's just how it looked in that alleyway. And because everything was wet, in big movies, they wet down streets on purpose.
Yes.
And so we just got that for free. And when we cross through that doorway, the camera actually crosses it. There's a cut there. And we pick up a second shot. So when you see him actually run up and get on his phone, and that's actually 2 separate shots.
It doesn't seem to be.
No, it doesn't. It was really cool. It was
That's
super
really
simple,
great.
but it worked. So.
Any other lighting aspects from The Cure that you recall?
No, not really anything specific. It was pretty straightforward. Looking back at it, it's one I wish I could go back and light again. I would definitely do it completely differently. But it worked.
Now with AI, can't you just do that?
No, you probably can.
Yeah, just make it different.
Yeah.
Molly or whatever you call your AI buddy.
Yeah.
Eight films, and the 8th was this year, SATO48 2025. It's Bleach, a love story.
I really liked him. Sweetheart.
He said he was 6'5". He was 5'8", at best.
Now, just reading the title, Why Didn't You Run for the Hills?
I know,
and knowing
right?
Curtis Stout was behind it.
Yes, he wrote it and directed it.
Yes.
So yes.
Yes.
Curtis has a. It's funny. Tom Baker, who many people who are watching this probably know of or have talked to, but
who have some kind of a prison sentence in their background. Go ahead.
Yeah, that too. The back streets of Springfield. He described our film as having a Curtis edge to it, and so we had to rein him in a little bit because Curtis has an edge, but it's definitely an interesting film and a fun. I think it's fun. So
when you read a script like this and you're like, oh, edgy and stuff, how does your brain change in terms of the lighting and the how you're going to help tell the story?
For this one especially, I mean, obviously the scenes take place during a party and things like that. So obviously, immediately I'm thinking colors and how can I get as much color into this as possible. And yeah, when you hear edgy, you think like gritty and dark, and that's kind of how it is. I don't know if it's super gritty, but it's with the look, but it's definitely dark and moody and which is again my wheelhouse, which is what I like to do. I want to drag all my gear out and put all the lights up. So I got to.
I paid for this stuff.
I did.
I'm using it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't make me drive down here and not let me use it.
So describe a typical interaction that happened on the set with Curtis when you're helping him or he's helping you and you're finding your way forward under this time crunch.
This year was probably the smoothest. I mean, especially production. Of SATO I've ever had.
Okay, then make something up,
I know,
like a
make something
fire,
up.
light catching on fire, anything like that. Something falling over on someone's head, something.
Yeah.
Good television, please.
Yeah.
Bleeding.
I'm sorry. I really thought you were the one.
It was a good experience.
Okay.
And I do want to brag on Curtis.
Right,
and we had a good team. There's a very specific transition. We're dollying from, it's a conversation that's just being continued in 3 different locations in the house. A conversation that would normally just take place in one
like
spot.
This.
Yes, yeah. So, and that was Curtis's idea. It was a really cool idea. And so we dolly into the next scene and the next scene. So those were pretty standard. But then getting into the other stuff, it was, I always am like, okay, Curtis, like, what are we doing? We have a shot that's down low and it's on a dolly and there's some risque kind of edgy stuff going on. But I'll let you guys watch it.
I like the way you did your head on risque. Yeah, there we go.
I did not need to know that.
And you've worked on feature films.
Yes, I've DP'd 5 feature films.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So what's the difference, apart from the idea that it's larger, longer? Does it still feel like SATO? Because aren't you you're still like on a budget, you're on a schedule? And
I mean, it really does. I mean, every day, I always say that filmmaking is, there's 2 things filmmaking is. It's problem solving and it's control, because you're controlling where people stand, where the light is, all those sort of things. But every set is, no matter what, it doesn't matter how much money you have, there's going to be problems and issues. I love listening to podcasts from people who are doing films, Hollywood films or TV shows, and they're talking about, we couldn't get this shot in, we did, it rained, or it's stuff that we still experience. They do too. They can just sometimes digitally remove it, but whatever.
That's right, because they got the money and the time.
And AI, yeah. So
what aspect of SATO48 experience most informed your success in the feature world?
Really kind of the speed of it. I mean, there's definitely more pressure, I think, on a SATO film than there is. Now, there's some days on a feature film where you've got this many pages to get in, but it definitely helps. And I've got to do some different kinds of shots that I've wanted to do. In post-credit scene, there's a shot, and it's very simple, but we're looking down on the bed as they're laying in the couple's laying in the bed.
Hey, did you?
It's a dolly, but I'd never done that. I wanted to do it, and we did it, and I've used it in 2 other feature films.
So we always ask the filmmakers, would you do SATO48 again? Why or why not? And it can be why not. Go ahead.
I really do I love SATO. I get so excited. It's like that one thing, really, truly, on my calendar every year that I'm like, as it gets closer, I'm like, that week of SATO takes forever. I just want it to get, I get
like
so
a kid
excited.
for Christmas.
Yes, I love it. Now, on Saturday when we're shooting, you question your existence, and then when you don't get your film turned in, and you question your existence again. But man, I'm telling you, within a few days, maybe a week, you're like, yeah, I'm looking forward to next year. So it's just so fun. Yeah.
Someone's out there wondering whether or not they should do SATO. They're on the fence. What would you tell them?
If you've never made a movie or you want to make one, I mean, that's what's great about it is you can, I mean, obviously it's easy to say go do it, but sometimes people just need a reason to do it. I mean, I used to shoot my son playing or flowers or whatever, but getting to do film, it's like you have a purpose and a reason. And so sometimes you need to get that inspiration package. That's your drive to actually, maybe I don't know what story to do. Well, that's going to help inform what your story is. And it's a competition and you get to network with other people. It's kind of a no-brainer if you're a filmmaker. So, or somebody who maybe you just want to do it for fun or again, like you've wanted to do it and you just never have. It's such a great avenue.
David Watson, Director of Photography, thank you so much for being on the show, and thank you for watching. Look for Bleach, a love story, directed by Curtis Stout. It is edgy. You'll want to be sitting down and holding on to something.